Hello. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time out to break with us, to learn with us today. I am Tiffany, your MHS founder and group coordinator. This is our financial wellness hour with Hailey Rainey, and we are so excited to be here today to talk about financial wellness within your businesses. So MHS is an organization that focuses on the mental health and wellness of entrepreneurs, and finances, you guys, is one of them. So we want to make sure that that you guys are getting the information that's needed. We are here with our entrepreneur and group member, platinum member, Hailey Rainey, who is the financial guru of credit consulting. And he has been in the financial industry for many, many years. He's been helping hundreds of other leaders and small business owners, such as myself, where he has helped me with my credit goals. My credit has at least went up, I would say at least 50 points, being in contact with Hailey and being a great friend of ours inside of the community. So he's a great friend, ladies and gentlemen. Hailey Rainey is here today to give us some financial information. How are you today, Hailey?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for that gracious opening, Tiffany. I really appreciate that.
Of course.
I always say, I'm here to serve. I get a great satisfaction from helping folks achieve their goals and their desires. And so I just will continue to do the same. Just to tell you a little bit about myself for the folks out there, Tiffany, you know me well. So, but basically, I've been in real estate, mortgage finance for 29 years.
Don't tell your age.
Yeah, but aside from that, because most folks say, "Oh yeah, that's great and nice," but I have helped dozens and dozens of people. I'll tell you this: I've helped hundreds of people get into homes as a mortgage underwriter. I've helped dozens of people fix their credit over the years to get them in a home to be eligible for a mortgage or to get a business loan, because I now work with entrepreneurs, small business folks, people starting from scratch. And usually the credit journey is part of that entrepreneurial journey. My company, Credit Renovators, I've had it as it currently is structured for just under 2 years. I specialize, although I can help anybody with any credit, but I do specialize in folks who are looking for mortgage and business eligibility, but I will work with anyone. My credit journey started on the personal side back in the late 80s, where when I first started buying real estate, I had 1, 2, 3 easy mortgage approvals. I had good credit. Then suddenly I started getting denials. And I'm like, well, what the heck is going on? Now, back then, it was very difficult to find out about your credit score. There was no credit monitoring then, Credit Karma, none of those existed. And the Fair Credit Reporting Act laws that are in place now that require that open transparency didn't exist. You had to write letters and wait, hope, and pray. Well, it took 4 years for me to find out that I was getting denials because I have a family member whose credit got transposed with mine because we have similar social security numbers, and their information, all of their negative stuff was being added to mine, and my positive stuff was being added to theirs. And so it took me 4 years to get that fixed up. And I learned a lot along the way. During my time in financing as a continuing ed course, FICO used to actually teach a course on their credit, because back then the credit reporting was new. So they taught us in the industry about how the credit worked because they were selling it as a service. And so I had an intimate knowledge of how the credit reporting system worked. And so that's my journey. So after 7 years, I finally got my credit back to where it was, and I've kept it there ever since. So between the personal situation and the professional, I have the insight and I have the experience, and I successfully help folks fix their credit. You know, when they stay with the program and they get through, I usually get them where they want to go.
That is awesome. So, like, you also yourself had to go through those personal things with your own credit to understand, how to help someone else with that, with their credit as well. And it's great to work with someone that has been through those, challenges and obstacles and issues. So you know where another person is coming from and how to help them because you have experienced that yourself, and now you are successful with your credit score and working with your financial abundance, as I would say.
I like
And now
that.
you're teaching and helping other people to basically get where you are, or to get to that path of where you find your educational standpoint with that. So that's good that they'll be working with someone that can relate to them as well.
Exactly. And again, I know the pain, so I have a system where the goal is to get them where they want to be as fast as possible. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
that's within the response time of the credit bureaus. And sometimes the credit, Tiffany, we know you had a creditor that was particularly stubborn on a file.
Mm-hmm.
It should have been an easy fix, you remember, but they were stubborn
Yeah.
with it. So that's sort of part of the process. But aside from
Mm-hmm.
that, my approach is one to try to get folks where they want to be as fast as possible, usually in between 30 and 90 days.
Okay, awesome. And so I just have a couple of questions I do want to ask you, just so we can know, like what are the best practices for us as well. So, what is the best way to build your personal credit profile?
Um, aside from the usual things, you want to make sure you're handling your current obligations correctly. You're paying on time. Credit utilization is important. You want to maintain that credit utilization. That is the amount of your credit you use divided by what your credit limit. 30% or less is the bare minimum to not get negatively impacted. I tell folks try to stay as close to 20 or below. But
Mm-hmm.
aside from that, there are things like what's referred to as credit builder, like credit cards. I always tell folks if you have eligibility to go with the credit union cards are the best because of course
Mm-hmm.
credit unions are for the members. So their products that they offer are more favorable than what you might find at some of the major banks. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but aside from that, more specifically, you definitely want to try to maintain between 2 and 3 credit cards. If you can handle more, that's fine, but that's a comfortable amount. And then have 2 installment loans like an auto loan, personal loan, mortgage. With that credit mix, as we call it in the industry, um, that's a good way to, and then maintain that, of course, pay on time, pay in full, and maintain that. You can definitely build your credit that way in a nice, safe way because a lot of folks make the mistake when they want to build credit, they go out and just start applying for a bunch of stuff at once. And you don't want that because you'll get a lot of inquiries and then it raises red flags with the algorithm that does the credit scoring, and it thinks that
Mm-hmm.
you're getting into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So you always want to be careful with that. Um, I'm trying to think one other thing. And of course, credit monitoring is important. So you want to get with a good credit monitoring company. I know a lot of folks use Credit Karma because it's free, but the problem you run into with Credit Karma is it doesn't show all 3 bureaus. And don't worry about the score. Focus on the file because I always talk about credit health, credit strength, credit quality. I use any of those to describe how you want your credit file to look, and then the score will come. If you got a healthy credit or strong file, the good score will come as a byproduct.
Okay. Okay. So that's awesome. Like to know that information because, a lot of people don't know that, those important points in order for us to be able to look at those things. Sometimes we don't look at those credit scores and we just think that we could just, go and do, um, we don't have acknowledgement of those important things that is in order for us to receive that, to receive any like loans or anything like that when it comes to personal credit. So thank you for that. Now there is another question that I also had as well. When it comes to the personal credit score, is that as important, for businesses? Say you're going to apply for a business loan, or you want to get a loan for your business. Does the personal score, does that matter? Is that still important to, in order to receive business credit?
Absolutely, especially with a new business, because what some folks may not realize, what's important to know, is that with, especially in the beginning with a new business, you still will most likely, until that business gets some major history and major business credit, you're still going to probably have to do a personal guarantee on that financing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means, although it's a business loan, it'll be business funding, it won't be on your personal credit. They still would want to take a look at your personal credit to see how you're managing that. It's sort of the equivalent of you co-signing for your business. That it makes sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So personal credit is still important when you're trying to do business credit. Now, of course, and even if you don't have to do a personal guarantee, because I know there's a lot of folks out there that say, "Oh, we have financing." Whether you want the, oh, did we freeze up? Okay, whether you want.
Oh, I think you froze, Kylie. Oh, there you go. Oh, okay, you're back.
Okay, yeah. What did we leave? Did you hear me at personal credit, personal
Yep,
guarantee?
personal credit. Yep,
Yeah,
personal guarantee credit. That's where
yeah,
you left.
yeah. So even if you don't have to get a personal guarantee, they're still going to look at your personal credit, and it will have an impact on the decision.
Okay, and that's really good to know, because a lot of people think that when they do get a loan for their business credit, they don't think that they're using the personal score, to actually to create, to make the decision if they're going to give you their loan or not. They actually do look at your personal credit, because you don't have a business credit, right? If you don't have business credit yet, if you're trying to apply for business credit, and they have to use your personal credit in order to see if you can apply for business credit. Is that correct? Or am
Yeah,
I?
absolutely. You hit it right on the head. Yeah,
Okay.
you hit it right on the head right there. So even if they're not going to use it, even if they're not going to go on your personal credit, and I will tell you this, the score itself is a gatekeeper. So, you say, "Oh, I'm trying to get business funding. I'm going with one of these companies that don't use a personal guarantee." They'll still look at your score. And if they don't like you, they will use the score alone just to say no.
Mm-hmm.
And then even if you have the score, if they see activity on your credit that they don't like, again, another gatekeeper, another filter. So if they see late,
Mm-hmm.
or they see previous late, or they see high utilization on your personal credit cards, and say you're trying to get a business credit card, there, although utilization doesn't matter in business credit, and they do want to see you used it because they want it, but they just want to see that they don't want to be worried that you'll use it and then not pay. So
Mm-hmm.
personal business credit is not intended to be a workaround for personal credit. Business credit is for business purposes, and it's very important. So you don't have to worry about inquiries or things like that, but it's just important. And here's another one, the biggie. The level of your personal credit will have an impact on how much business credit they extend to you. Because
That's a
that's
good
the
one.
difference because if you got a marginal credit score, they might give you $1,500. And in the
Mm-hmm.
business funding world, that's nothing. So marginal credit, you might get $1,500 if you get anything at all. Deep fair credit, good credit, you get $15,000. So, and
Mm-hmm.
that, you know what I'm saying? So it's important that if you're going to go after business credit, that you structure your business properly, and that you have your personal credit structured properly. And when you structure your business properly, then there's things that you do to start to build your business credit. You don't have to have it all the way together at the beginning, but if you got certain elements in place, it'll increase the odds of you getting business funding in amounts that you want the first time in a short amount of time. I mean, I've gotten folks 60, 70, $80,000 in business credit in like 90 days after getting certain things together. And a big part of that was getting the credit, the personal credit right, because they would say, oh, no, I can just get it now. I said, trust me, wait a little bit, because if you do it now, you're only going to get like $5,000. This particular person, I said, you're probably only going to get $5,000 if you do it now. If you wait a month, wait 2 months, maybe we get you where we want to go, then you'll probably get 15 grand. Well, he gave me one better. We got him up like 82 points, and he got 50 grand. I mean, I'm sorry, 35 grand on that first card. Then another month later, he got a little bit better, and then he got another 30,000 on that card. And that was mostly based on the projections at that point. But the credit was an impact, because had he had the issues he had, they probably wouldn't have gave him that much, because collections he had, we got to go away. They would have been concerned about those. So, but again, the business structure, when it comes to the business financing, the unsecured type, you got all that. And then when you start looking at SBA loans, then the credit file is very much important, because now you got a live underwriter looking at the file, and you'll get a loan, but you may only get like $5,000 of like a micro loan until you get things resolved.
Thank you so much for that information. That is a really good information to know, because a lot of people think that, they don't think that the personal credit score affects how much money that you do get. So if you're like, trying to get 20,000, 40,000, 50,000, and it's like, you apply for certain certain loans to get that much, but then you're trying to do the the $5,000 one. It's like, that's, you're getting the 5,000 because your credit score is not good enough to get the 50,000. And that's your personal credit score at that, So it's like, I think people really need to understand how important your personal credit score matters. I didn't pay attention to it either until I started to work with you. And then I realized, like, my personal credit score really, really matters. So I have this amount of time to get this up, pay these things off, and then, apply. Because like you said, it was better to wait, and get the decent amount that you need, instead of just doing it, at a poor score and just getting $5,000. So
yeah. And then you got to work your way up to work your way to getting higher credit limit increases, which can still happen over time, but that can take, now they got to wait for you they want to see 6-7 months of history and activity before they'll trust you. Whereas if you'd have laid it out the first time, you could have got a lot more at the beginning. I mean,
right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Correct.
So sometimes it's just better to take a step back. I mean, and again, I'm not preaching to you, but to the folks out there, because I've had many folks that I've consulted,
me too.
and I had a plan laid out for them, and they didn't want to wait. They said, no, I can do it now. No. And then they said to me, I was able to get it anyway. You said I wouldn't be able to get to, but then they got substantially less than they would have had they
being anxious.
Yeah. Sometimes I just found that a lot of times when it comes to business, Tiffany, you've been in business a long time. Strategy makes the difference.
Yes, it does.
And in finance, it's no different.
It definitely is not. It is a big part of the business. you know, and I think that's what, people need to really understand is like the financial part is a huge piece, and it can also be a huge stressor if you don't plan for it and organize it so that you can create financial abundance for yourself and your business.
Yeah,
That's a part of your mental health, you guys.
that's what
So
I was
it's
just gonna
really
say.
important to really, take the strategies and the time and get the support team that you need to make sure that your finances are in order for your business, and so that it can have a great effect on your personal life, you know.
Absolutely.
Um, so yeah, I have one more question that I want
Okay.
to give you as well. Thank you so much for this great information, because these are the things that people really need to know of how your finances can affect your mental health if you don't, really pay attention to it, if you don't organize it, if you don't strategize it, and really get educated about it. You really, you don't want to be lost in the sauce and having anxiety and lead to depression and things of that such just because your finances are not in order, and so that's why we have people like Mr. Hiley Rainey to come and educate people about these things, because it's really important to know. um, and so I have a question about the cash. Okay, because I know a lot of people, you have some old school people that like, and I didn't mean to say old school, but people that like to use cash
Yeah,
only.
you
So,
can say it.
so we want to know, is cash king and credit queen? So
That
can you
that
like explain the differences between those two and let us, is that true?
I believe, in my opinion, I believe it is to be true.
Okay.
Cash is king, but credit is queen, and we all know who runs the house, right? Because, and
Yes, the
here's why.
ladies.
Yeah, and here's why. Because yes, cash is king because to an extent. The only problem with that is the flaw in the cash is king thinking, because cash doesn't hold up well to inflation. Of course, we've all
Okay.
seen in recent times since COVID how you
Mhm.
got cash and then things go up by 50%. So now your money has less spending power. Every time they print more money, you got less spending power. So yes, cash is king, but the king wears a heavy crown. Whereas
That's the truth.
credit is queen. And so the beauty thing is, because of course, and not to sound chauvinistic, but behind it, every great man is a great woman. And if credit is behind him, remember, what's the
Mhm.
one thing we know about credit? Credit is leverage. So no matter how
Mhm.
much cash you got, you can probably get 10 times as much in credit accessible.
Mhm.
Again, provided you have credit and that you have good credit profile and that you have good credit scores and then some other things. But um, cash is king, yes, but the queen, it leverages that by leveraging credit. The queen makes the king that much stronger, and you can do a lot more. So, what's easier to get? What's easier to save $100,000
Mhm.
or to get access to $100,000 in credit? So, most of
Mm.
us can get to that $100,000 in credit a lot faster. You can get the
Mhm.
100,000 in money. That's assuming
Mhm.
if you're not, if you're just the average person. When I say average, I mean a 9 to 5 person working a job. You're getting a paycheck, so on and so forth. So it's a lot easier to come up with $100,000 in credit if you have the capacity than it is to save 100,000, and it'll take a lot longer. So by borrowing, I mean, most of us, we own our homes, we didn't pay cash, we
Mhm.
put some money down, and at best we probably put 5 or 10% down, and then we got the other 90 through credit. So that's why
Mhm.
I say I agree with your statement, and I wholeheartedly support that based on that premise. So cash is king, credit is queen, and queen runs the house.
Queens run the house. Do you hear that? Queens run the house. Okay. We are the neck. They are the head. But you can't turn your head without us.
You got to keep it, y'all keep us on the straight and narrow.
Yes, we do. So, but yes, I would love to, for you to tell everyone where they can find you. Your information. Do you have a website? How do how can people get into contact with you if they need assistance? From you when it comes to assisting with their credit.
Sure, absolutely. They can find me on my website. There's two websites, but my .com is being renovated right now. No pun intended.
Credit Renovators.
Exactly. So www.creditrenovatorslllc.net. You go there. You have a choice. You can go there if you're looking for full service done for you credit consultation and assistance there. You can click a link there, but also so you guys know that I also offer a DIY credit renovator program where you can work on your credit yourself. It has step-by-step, it has all the education, all the information, but even better, it has step-by-step on how to fix your credit yourself. It's less expensive than working with me directly. And some folks just want, they want that empowerment, and they can do that. If they want to reach out to me further, they can call my office at 380-210-1917. You can email me at highly@creditrenovatorslllc.net. We'll just go with that. I'm not going to give out my mobile number because you can imagine. But and again, in addition to the DIY credit repair course, I also have a course on educating you on business credit, as well as some other courses as well. There's a mindset class, some other ones, but all of these are designed to work together depending on what your financial goals are. For my home buyers, I have a home buyers education course. It is a lot more comprehensive than that minuscule home buyers education course that's required by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. That doesn't really tell you anything. Mine is to educate you on not just the home buying process, the mortgage process, the home buying process. I mean, this is something that realtors can hand to people if they want it. Or if a realtor had a person that went through my course, that would make the realtor's job 60% easier, because that realtor will find an educated buyer prepared for their service and understanding how their service work. The loan officer will find a buyer coming through my program. They will be ready for the mortgage process, the application process, the credit part, and they would find a better customer as well, a more informed customer. I shouldn't say better, but a more informed and educated customer. But that's how you can reach me. Of course, you can find this video here on YouTube. I would say, I hope you enjoy this one as well as the other ones. Like and subscribe. But I always tell folks, you can do it yourself. And can you do it? Sure, you can do it yourself. If you have the time, you have the energy. If you have my guidance, you can definitely, just taking my course is going to improve your success on doing your credit yourself. And I'm boldly saying this, by at least 60%. You're going to be twice as better equipped to fix your credit yourself by going through my course. And you will get some support from me. So buying my course doesn't just leave you out hanging. There's videos in there. And then of course, there are 2 consult calls that are included with the course.
Okay, thank you so much, because that's important to know that, to where to reach you so that people can really, get help with their financial credit and their scores. And that it's great to know that you have these courses to better prepare people when they are trying to buy a home, or they are trying to, to improve Yeah, to start a business. These are the very imperative things that you that people need to know, before they actually go into these banks and start to work with these, with the bankers and the financial departments. It's like, this is information that's good to know beforehand, so that you know what you're walking into, and you have confidence enough to know, I'm prepared to walk into these banks and talk to these people because I know what to do, and there it is, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard this great information from the financial guru, Mr. Hiley Rainey. He is the credit consultant, and he has been in this industry for a very long time. So he's very experienced in knowing about the finances, and how to assist other clients and customers with those options to help them improve their financial situations. So, if there's not anything else, I want to thank you all for being here today. Mental Health Solutions is where we focus on your mental health and mental well-being for the entrepreneur. You can find us at mentalwellnessleaders.com. And if there's not anything else, Hiley, thank you so much for your time today. And you guys can follow us also on Facebook and Instagram. Have a good
My
day.
pleasure. Thanks for having me, Tiffany. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.